Hello! You are going to learn how to use the EOlife X, which is developed by Archeon. This device is dedicated to the training of manual ventilation in cardiac arrest and will allow users to improve their ventilation and airway management skills. The objective of this video is to present you the assembly, the configuration, and the use of EOlife X. EOlife X consists of a main unit and a sensor called FlowSense X. The arrow on the sensor shows the direction of the inspiratory flow, and the sensor outputs are shaped differently to ensure that the interface cannot be connected the wrong way. To connect the FlowSense X, hold its base firmly while inserting the part that has a notch into the connector ridge. Next, rotate it from right to left to clip in place. The sensor's design prevents the user from assembling the mask and bag the wrong way round. The difficulty with mask ventilation is maintaining a good air seal and avoiding gastric inflation. To do this, make sure the top of the mask is positioned centrally on the patient's nose, as leaks are common in this area. Position your thumb at the top of the mask and pinch the patient's chin to hold it firmly. Tilt the head back and use the jaw thrust maneuver to clear the airways. Switch EOlife X on by pressing the on-off button once. The date and time appear on the screen. You can change these in the settings to make sure that the correct date and time are recorded for each use. The home screen allows you to select the patient's height, divided into 3 categories: small, medium, or tall. Then select the type of ventilation to be used: 32 mode to alternate chest compressions and ventilation, or continuous mode for uninterrupted ventilation. Choose the desired training mode: blind ventilation to record and evaluate ventilation parameters without feedback, or monitored ventilation for guided ventilation. The main screen has 4 areas. At the top, you have access to the settings to change the patient's height and the ventilation mode, and there is an icon to rotate the screen and a runtime indicator. Below this, you can see a real-time measurement of the insufflated volume, tidal volume, and respiratory rate. In the middle, EOlife X gives visual feedback about the ventilation quality. The bottom of the screen displays the alarms. During ventilation, the bar graph shows you whether the volume delivered is appropriate based on the patient's height. Orange means that the volume is insufficient, green means adequate, and red means excessive. In continuous mode, EOlife X gives you a visual countdown between each ventilation to guarantee an ideal rate. In 32 mode, the countdown function is not available. The person performing the compressions must tell you when to deliver 2 breaths. EOlife X has a smart alarm prioritization system. See the instructions for more information. During continuous ventilation, if you do not follow the specified pace, EOlife X will tell you that you are ventilating too fast or too slow. EOlife X also warns you if the tidal volume is excessive or insufficient. If this is the case, adjust the pressure applied to the bag. EOlife X also warns you if there is a leak. This can happen if the mask is positioned incorrectly, if the airways are obstructed, or when there is gastric inflation. By selecting the blind ventilation mode, the interface records your ventilation parameters during manual ventilation without feedback. The red dot indicates that your data is being recorded. Once your training session is over, simply press the stop button to stop the recording. If you press on the on-off button, a statistical report shows the percentage of ventilation within the recommended range, the mean respiratory rate, the mean tidal volume, the total ventilation time. A detailed analysis of the ventilation performance is possible by exporting the data to the EOlife Connect application. From this screen, you can tap on the wrench icon to access the device settings. You can set the date, time, and language of the device. You can also choose the default interface, access the menu to export the data recorded, and view EOlife X operating data. The export of recorded data requires the use of EOlife Connect application. If you select the basic interface, the numerical data about the insufflated volume, the tidal volume, and the respiratory rate will be removed and replaced by written statements such as ventilate continuously, wait for 30 compressions. This interface gives you a simplified reading of your ventilation. It is designed for less experienced users. Switch off the EOlife X by pressing the on-off button, then by tapping the confirmation icon that appears on the statistics screen. Make sure you switch off EOlife X before removing the battery. You can now remove the mask and the bag and then disconnect the sensor by pulling hard on the tab while rotating it from left to right. Archeon thanks you and hopes you enjoy learning with EOlife X.